Have you always worked out? Has that always been a part of your life? I mean, since in high school, sports?
Yeah, since the ninth grade. So I've been over 25 years, been doing this for quite some time. Really started paying closer attention to nutrition and how I'm fueling my body. I started paying attention about 10 years ago, but throughout the course of time, as my knowledge has expanded and I've learned more, and just throughout the process of trial and error, really got it dialed in over the last 3 to 4 years. I mean, I'm 41 now and I'm in the best shape of my life.
That's awesome, man. And so kind of back at the beginning, what sports did you play in high school in ninth grade that you were working out?
Yeah, I've wrestled and played football.
So two strength-focused sports.
Exactly.
Man, that's awesome. And you said that you're from Boston. So after Boston, so you immediately joined the military after high school?
So that's an interesting story. So I was arrested 17 times before my 18th birthday. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
I've heard, but I don't know the exact details.
Yeah, so I was arrested 17 times before my 18th birthday, and eventually the state of Massachusetts gave me an ultimatum, which was to either go to jail or join the military. So as much as I would love to sit here and tell you that from a very young age, as a boy, it was always a dream of mine to one day honorably serve my country. That's not the way it materialized with me. But the military, not only changed my life, an argument can be made that it saved it. I was just on a path at that point in time that, the nature of the crimes that I was committing and things I was getting in trouble for were continuing to escalate. So getting me out of that environment was a power move. I mean, at the time I don't think I appreciated it as much. I very much looked at myself as a victim at that point. But the military really, like I said, it changed my life in so many ways, taught me how to be disciplined, taught me the importance of paying attention to the details, taught me the importance of having high standards, right? How to operate within a team, and obviously it helped me understand how important winning is.
Did they give you a choice of which branch and what you would be doing? Or did they just say, you got to join something?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think I just said I had to join something. I think I talked to the Marines, then I talked to the Navy, and I was attracted to the Navy because there was a community, the Navy diving community. My recruiter kind of hyped that up and said that there's a couple things that he told me about it, but the thing that was the most appealing was Navy divers don't have to wear the regular uniform. They're on the boats, they're wearing shorts, T-shirts, or shirts off. So I'm like, man, that sounds perfect for me.
Yeah.
And, it's true. And we didn't wear the traditional military uniforms very much. But the community was amazing. I mean, to this day, it's certainly one of the most significant accomplishments of my life. To that point, absolutely, it was the most significant accomplishment of my life. I mean, to give you a little context, I told you I was arrested 17 times before my 18th birthday. My mother had me at 16. She was a drug addict. Father took off before I was even born. So I spent time in foster homes, group homes, juvenile detention centers, and jail cells. I said I was arrested 17 times for my 18th birthday. I've been arrested another half a dozen times after that. I have multiple felonies on my record. The majority in my 20s, I was a drug dealer. So, I mean, we can go into all of that.
Yeah.
But we're all over the board here.
Holy shit. Yeah. So going into the military probably obviously took all that shit away. Did you feel like you had a second chance at the time? I mean, 18-year-old kids are typically pretty hard-headed. I know I was. So did you take that for granted, or did you realize at the time, like, okay, I got to get my shit together?
Yeah, I think I had some level of awareness.
Yeah.
Fact that I needed to get it together, especially in the community that I was in. So the Navy diving community it's an elite community. 70% of the people who start the training do not complete it. There's a 70% attrition rate. It's very difficult training, physically, mentally, academically. I was exposed to a lot of adversity early on. Just being in and out of foster homes, group homes, the abuse that I was subjected to. I was subjected to abuse from a very, very young age, which I actually consider myself very fortunate for, because the trauma, the adversity, the hardship that I was dealing with from a very young age, it eventually equipped me with skills and tools that allowed me to go on to do things with my life that are considered to be statistically impossible. So it's one of those things where at the time you don't realize that things are different, right? Because that's just how life is.
Right.
So as time went on, I started to realize some things, and one of those things was the fact that I could take a little more punishment than the average person, and that served me well in dive school.
Yeah.
It served me well in dive school because I had a little bit of an attitude, and that's not optimal when you're going through specialized military training. But I had the ability to suffer longer than most people, and that allowed me to make it through dive school. Now,
Right.
when I got to my first dive command, I was the youngest guy there by about 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and the entire time, the entire 5 years I was there, I was the youngest guy. So I was around a bunch of guys who were more established, more well-rounded, just guys that had their shit together. And when I got there, I did not. But of course, you couldn't tell me that. But, back then, my head was up my ass, and they put their foot in my ass when needed. And if I'm being honest, it was needed a lot back then.
Yeah.
But these guys helped me grow up very, very quickly. They saw something in me that I didn't necessarily see in myself. And I was proud to be a Navy diver.
Right.
And that was a feeling that I was not familiar with and hadn't been familiar with to that point in my life. So when you get up every day and you have a purpose and you have a mission and you have something that you're actually proud of, it changes your entire perspective on the world. So I started to really start to like the person that I was becoming. Because if I'm being honest, the majority of my life, I didn't like the person who I was. I was always angry. I was always pissed off. I mean, obviously I'm getting in trouble that much. You don't,
Right.
If that is happening, that's normally indicative of behavioral problems.
Exactly.
And, a lot of different things going on at that point in time. But, looking back on it, I wasn't aware of this at the time, but obviously what I was doing is I was just looking for significance.
Right.
Right. I was trying to do something to make myself significant. And that's the thing. Human beings have this biological need to obtain significance. And some people go about it in very inspiring, positive, healthy ways. And others do it the way that I did.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to be a part of a community, and it sounds like you just found yourself wrapped up in the wrong community. I mean, I'm sure your friends were doing the same bullshit you were.
Yeah. Let's make no
Getting in
mistake
trouble.
about it. My friends absolutely were getting in trouble. However, I was the worst amongst my peer group.
Oh,
So
no.
I cannot use that. Yeah, I cannot responsibly use that as an excuse. I was around the wrong people, whatever. I was the wrong person. I was the wrong person. So yeah, I was.
You were the guy mama told you about, like, hey, don't go around that kid. He's trouble.
I was absolutely somebody that my friends' parents were a little cautious of.
Yeah. Right.
But I think, also they kind of recognized why I was that way. They knew my home situation, and just my childhood wasn't, ordinary. And I was very fortunate to actually have some good friends of mine, families, parents that looked out for me and gave me a little bit of, mentorship and just treated me like they treated their kids, which was helpful because I didn't have that. I didn't have a father growing up. Right. And that's a big deal for a man.
Oh, yeah.
So, being able to have some friends of mine whose families really looked out for me was huge for me. And I think that potentially could have saved me from going off the deep end completely.
Yeah. It sounds like you had a little bit of light in that dark childhood.
There was in my high school years, especially. There was intermittent periods of light and intermittent periods of hope. And, you know, the thing is, I had to get out of the environment that I was in. That environment was making me sick. And
Sounds like the judge saved your life.
yeah,
Really.
saved my life. I mean, at the time, I thought that it was unfair and unjust.
Right.
You know, I looked at myself as a victim, but, you know, good on the state of Massachusetts for giving me that ultimatum and giving me that opportunity, because you know, the military, like I said, not only taught me so many amazing qualities that helped me evolve and helped me become the person I am today. But the thing that I think was the most valuable was it got me out of my hometown. It got me out of my old patterns and old just kind of ways of doing
Away from all the
things.
people too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're around a completely new set of people that have joined the military for all different reasons.
Yeah, I mean, who you're around, I mean, influences your mindset. It dictates your standards. The people in your life are objectively either making your life better or making your life worse. And I think most people understand this to a certain degree. Unfortunately, they still continue to hang out with fucking losers, which doesn't necessarily make sense. But we all know and have seen, if we look back in time and think about periods of our life where things were going really good, there's always patterns there. There's always patterns and common denominators of just that give you an indication of things that you were doing that were allowing this positive result to materialize. And, you know, back then I was very fortunate, like I said, to be in that community because I was around a bunch of guys who were better than me.
Yeah.
I was around a bunch of guys who were better than me.
Older and wiser and more
Correct.
perspective. If you enjoyed this clip, click here for the full episode.